I am the greatest.
So first and foremost, I want to welcome everyone who clicked on this video to the first episode of Niner Talk. So 2 games under our belt, and I think everybody has the same question or is thinking the same thing. Is Jimmy G really the one that is going to take us to the promised land and bring home that Super Bowl? Well, I put a few clips together from last year, some of his highlights and what exactly has changed from last year to this year. So enjoy the clips and we'll talk about it afterwards.
Seconds remaining. Moving to his left. Looking towards the end zone. He throws. Touchdown. He's got speed at the 20. On the move. Throws, and it is caught.
So what exactly has changed since last year to this year? Well, a few things, right? It's obvious that Jimmy G's confidence has gone down. Passes like this, passes like this one right here, and passes, of course, like this. So we saw the early signs of it, errant throws, arm throws, just completely relying on arm strength, that ultimately turned into this. And this.
Garoppolo firing incomplete, too high. He was going for Kittle again.
And I think we all know how this ended.
4-man rush here. Garoppolo over the middle. Intercepted. Harrison Smith. Harrison Smith will seal the deal for Minnesota.
Now, I'm very critical of Jimmy G mainly because of the amount of money that we're paying him. When you pay that much money, over $100 million, 5 years contract, you expect to get a top tier quarterback, or you hope that your quarterback can perform at a top tier level. And I'm not knocking him. He's obviously talented. He can just shred a defense. We saw that in Jacksonville. You might say that, they don't really have film on him, which is true. But the fact is that they have elite defenders, linebacking core, secondary, all-pro safeties, everything like that. And he still, just completely shredded them. Single-handedly, no help of Hyde, Breida, nothing like that. And what I keep seeing from Jimmy G is that it's the timing of the throws. Throw behind a receiver or just completely miss them. I think in the the Vikings game, Dante Pettis ran a slant route and he missed them. Like, he led him way too far and too high. And the interception was a little, lucky because Xavier Rhodes really didn't know what hit him in the face. And then all of a sudden he looks up and he's got a present, So I don't really blame Jimmy G for that one. I do, just because of how much he led him and how far away he was. But then we also go back to the O-line. Now you're going to see a few clips here of him getting sacked. He got sacked way too much this game, which I don't understand because he didn't even get sacked this much in the Vikings game. So, how does that work exactly? But going back to the question that I originally did this video for, is Jimmy G the one that's going to win us a Super Bowl? And if you ask me, my honest answer would have to be yes. Now, there's two factors to that. One, obviously, is going to be Jimmy G. The second being Kyle Shanahan, our head coach. There's no denying that Kyle Shanahan is an offensive genius. He made Matt Ryan into an MVP. Not that Matt Ryan is an MVP caliber, but he won't win an MVP ever again. And I would definitely not put him up there with the likes of Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady and those guys like that. However, does Jimmy G have that? Now, he showed, bits and pieces of it, especially last year when we went 5-0 with him in the last stretch of the season. This year, I honestly think that he's really letting the contract, the big money, the lights, the cameras action, all that kind of stuff get to him. And it's really kind of giving him a little bit of like shakiness, shaking his confidence, shaking his mentality. You're going to see at the very end of the clip here with the Detroit Lions game, that holding call that we got the interception. When Jimmy G threw an interception, we got that holding call. It was holding. Now, was it a ticky-tack foul? I mean, maybe not, but they called it, and I agree with the call. So, call me biased, whatever, but I think it was holding. However, the pass was terrible. The pass was absolutely terrible. Jimmy G, he already knew. He made up his mind before he even read the defense. He was going there no matter what, if it was triple covered, and that's what scares me sometimes about his decision making. The fact that he will predetermine a route, predetermine a throw, no matter what the coverage is. And I think that goes back to the play calling of Kyle Shanahan. Does he trust Kyle Shanahan a little much? And I think there might be some miscommunication there. He might trust Kyle Shanahan too much because he thinks he draws up the perfect play. And then you have Kyle Shanahan who is looking to Jimmy G to make the correct decision. Read the defense, go through your reads, look left, look right, or vice versa, and that could also be a factor, right? So ultimately, I think that we will get to the playoffs. Will it happen this year? Probably not. Would I love to see it this year? Of course, but just me being realistic, it's a tall order. This is such a young team. And it is unfair to put it all on, Garoppolo's shoulders. Even though he is at the helm, he's the one. Aaron Rodgers can single-handedly win games, day after day after day. But why hasn't Rodgers won a Super Bowl, in the last few years? It's because of the defense. Green Bay has never had a defense. And if you can't hold a team under 21, and then you're asking the quarterback to score 4 touchdowns for you, it doesn't usually work out in your favor. You can do it, but can you do it all the way to the Super Bowl? Probably not, especially because that's the playoffs. Those are the elite teams. Those are the ones that have gotten there for their defense or, So I guess time will tell, but I do have confidence in him. It's the first 2 games of the season. Kansas City's going to be not so much of a test because they don't really have a defense, but they can score. Our defense is going to be tested next week, so I'm excited to see what they can do. DeForest Buckner is a monster. Can't wait to see him more this season. But yeah, I thank you guys so much for tuning into the first episode of 49er Talk, and hopefully you guys join me again next week so we can break down the Kansas City game, and like, share, and subscribe.